doing the stucco patch in the right corner.
Okay, and to do this small stucco job, I usually have these type of tools. I'll end up having some cutters. I have a paintbrush used for this quickcrete bonding agent, which I usually use around the outside of whatever patch I'm doing, because it bonds concrete or stucco to concrete. That's about the amount of stucco I'm going to use, and this is also has fiberglass in this stucco. And then I have a hawk, which is this tool here to hold the stucco, a trowel, and a couple other little trowels, little knives, for this small stucco patch. So that's the patch I'm going to be doing right now, and I'll go ahead and show you what I do. I usually wet it a little bit, and then I put the bonding agent around the outside of just where the stucco is, or where the rough edge is. Let that set up for a little bit, and then I'll go ahead and float out the stucco. Okay, I don't know if you can see this, but when I mix this stucco, it has a consistency of like a cake batter. You want to be able to put it on your hawk or use your trowel without it just sliding off. So this is actually perfect right now for this application. What I'm going to do is I'll take the hose, I'll wet this down a little bit, and then I'll show you how I put the bonding agent on, and then I'll go ahead and start putting the stucco on. Okay, since I wet this, it's had a little time to dry. I'm going to put some bonding agent on here, and then I'm going to go ahead and put a little metal corner that I pre-cut that's going to even out with this when I float it. And then I'm going to add a couple little pieces of razor wire, it's actual, I'll show you, but it's stucco wire. It looks like razor wire that I'll put here and right in here just to add this in to fill it. So this is this bonding agent, and basically I just take a brush and I brush it inside the corners so that the stucco, some people don't do this, I do it. My dad was a contractor and showed me this, and I, you know, whether he's a dinosaur or not, I was kind of stuck with the way he does things. So anyway, but once you get this on here, let it set for just a little bit. Stucco is pretty porous, obviously, so this will dry. I'll take a sponge and clean that off. When I'm done, I'm going to end up repainting this entire wall anyway. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and cut this a little bit, and then right here, this paper, only because it's a little bit past where I want my corner to go. Okay, and what I'm using here is a metal corner I got from Home Depot. It's just a stucco corner. It's both sides are usually the same length. I cut this one side off so it would fit right down inside and up against the wood to match this corner once I'm finished, once it's on. And I'm going to mount this with furring nails. And furring nails have a little piece of wad of paper on it, and what that does is it keeps the distance of the stucco wire out, at least that looks like 1/4 inch, a little bit more than a 1/4 inch off, so you get some stucco underneath it. So we'll stick this in here, line it up, put the furring nail in, that one's not going to go. I put that metal strap in there earlier, so I'll have to go a little bit higher. I'll put one more here. And those. These are the little pieces of wire mesh, not razor wire mesh. You can also get at Home Depot or some of the other places. I cut it so I can stick it over some of these overlaps where I don't have them touching. So I want it kind of here. I'll put that one there. And this I'm just going to weave in because I got these metal plates here, so I'm not going to be able to put it all together there. so it holds it in place. I'm actually just going to put this right over the top because the stuff's pretty fat. Little gnats. We're in California and it's really hot today. I got these little sweat flies buzzing around me and they're driving me nuts. Okay, and this is the other piece I have. Same thing. I want to put it up here. Only to cover that wire. And the reason why that wire was short, it's the original wire that I took off, so it actually was a little bit short. Okay, and now that this is done and ready for the stucco, I'll go ahead and get some stucco and start placing it in the corners first, pushing it underneath, getting it down inside real good, and then I'll float out the field right here in the center. Okay? Okay, don't get me wrong. Other people do this different. This is the way I do it. I have the mud on my hawk here, and again, it's kind of the consistency of cake batter. I have it on the trowel. I usually put it on the end. Hold the trowel against the wall so it doesn't make a big mess. You can either slap it in this way, however, with the angle, if I'm going that way, on that side, I'll put it on the tip. However, I'm going to put it on the back to go across in here, turn it, and push it in. Push it down inside. You can see it going in, and turn it, just push it down in so you know you're getting all that stucco behind that edge. And I hold the hawk down here below because you can see stucco's falling, and I don't want it all hitting the ground and waste a bunch of stucco. I have smaller knives to go a little on the higher side, so this we're going to go push it here, shake the knife, then take it back off, put it on the tip, push it down inside. Push it down inside that hole. And you're coming up to that edge. I'll make sure I got it all in those cracks. Use the back side of the knife. And push it down just like that. Now when I get the field, I'll put it on the knife and I'll shake the knife up like that and it'll actually go into the wire. Okay, I'll grab a little bit more. Okay, I got a little bit more here. We're just going to continue. Put it on the tip and roll it. I'm continuing to keep my hawk underneath it so I don't lose a bunch of this stuff on the ground. I shake that, vibrate the first coat, and I'll show you how I finish it off with when I do a scratch coat. And then I'll have to come back and do the next coat. So I'll go ahead and finish that corner, show you that real quick. And then I'll come back and show you how I like to call it edge it, and then I scratch it, and then clean up. And then the next coat will be tomorrow after it dries. And then the corner, just gonna hold this here. This beam hasn't been painted yet. It's got a primer coat on it, so good. And again, remember this is just the scratch coat. The next coat will actually go on a lot cleaner than that. And actually, I think I'm going to call this good for now until it dries enough for me to do my edging. And I'll finish with this knife. And this one, I'll put this in here. On the corner. It's just a smaller knife to build that corner. Hopefully you guys will want to try this. rather than pay somebody. You don't need a lot of tools to do a small patch. And this is great for around windows, around trim, or around small areas without having to pay somebody to come in and do this for you. The key to this is just like doing drywall. Don't be too picky. Don't try to be real careful and clean. Chances are that you're going to make a big mess anyway. Just make sure, like I did, use plastic and paper. Clean everything up really good. It is concrete, it's stucco, but it will have the consistency of concrete and stain patios, and you don't want that to happen, especially at the church client's house. Okay, we'll go ahead and let that set up for a little bit. I'll get a sponge and clean it off on the this side, and then I'll show you how I edge it. Okay, so now this is where I come to the part of edging it. And I take a little tool, either this or I'll take I cleaned it already, but a square one, small one, a little rectangular one. But to clean off the existing stucco edge around, so the new stucco you put on the existing stucco, I kind of clean it off, and I'll use a sponge afterwards. And then I come out on a slight angle and I scrape down about 1/8, a little bit more, maybe 3/16 of an inch, and follow the line of the busted stucco. So I think you can see that. See right in here like this, how I did that? And I'll do that the same thing right around in here, right on this edge, all the way around. And a slight angle. You can see it kind of follows the contour of the busted stucco. Only because I want that edge to show. Come back over it. What I'll do is I'll take my scratching tool. It's a scratcher, it looks like a comb. And then again, if I come down, I'm going to pull the mud down, obviously for gravity, if I pull down. So I'm going to go up and I'm going to go side to side. So I'm going to take it from the bottom, and I'm going to put a little bit of pressure on it to get some lines. Take it to the inside on the edge, and same thing with the outside. And then here I'm going to pull to the side so I don't pull the stucco down, because it's still kind of wet, but I don't have a lot of time here. Got things to do. So come across like that. Just give it a little, it's called a scratch coat. So a little scratch coat. That means the next layer I put on is going to stick to that, because it's not smooth, it's got some edges to it. So the next layer is going to stick, then I'll go ahead and smooth that out, and then I'll texture it to match this texture. Okay, that's the scratch coat after I've cleaned off around the edges. And you can see the corner that'll come up around that wood. Alright guys, it's been 2 days, and in pure California fashion and drought, it's been very hot. It's been between 85 and 90, and probably didn't even need 2 days, but it's pretty dry. So anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this wet, and I already sprayed it once, but there's some areas around here I want to get wet, so I got the sponge wet. And I'm just going to let it soak in some water. It soaks in pretty fast because that stucco is very porous. So the stucco, a little bit wetter than the cake batter consistency, because I want it to float over this and smooth out. I'm going to knock some of this stuff off first. I'll zoom in and show you how I'm going to do it. Once I get it floated smooth, then I'm going to just throw some of this skip on real quick, and I'll also come down around here so it doesn't look like a patch. The whole trick is don't fix this area to here, or it'll always look like a patch. You want to fix the area smooth and then texture it down into here, so that when you paint it, it doesn't look like a patch. Okay, so I'll go ahead and zoom in and I'll show you that. Hold the hawk the same way, push the stuff on, and then shake it as it goes up. The stucco will pull the moisture, the other stuff will pull the moisture right out of this pretty quick. And I'm wearing a white shirt today, so I just got done running, just ran 3 miles and came over here to finish this up. Okay, so I'll let that dry for about 5 minutes. Then I'll scrape it, and then I'll go ahead and make sure it's floated out nice enough and put a little texture on it and show you how to texture that. Okay, for this I normally use a straight edge to clean it off, but I'm just going to use the trowel. I don't have a straight edge with me today, so I'm going to slowly scrape it. See, it's only been about 5 minutes. Just try to keep it the same level as the wall. Just carefully. And on this you don't pull it. I usually pull this side or away from the corner, and it doesn't rip my corner off. So be careful. Around here first, and then I'll back the camera angle off and show you how I feather all this in. Use the same trowel. For me, I use the same trowel, put a little bit on, just clean off the edge, put a little on that edge, and then I'm going to set it on here lightly and just carefully, without putting much pressure on, just let the mud peel off. And then flatten it out a little bit. So I'm kind of slow for you, but I'm going to go a little quicker so it doesn't mess me up. Just make sure the mud's semi-wet, just so it grabs. It's going to look heavier than your existing mud texture on the wall because it's been painted over several times. It's hard to get it kind of thin, but you can also push it down. Because again, the stucco underneath is going to pull the moisture out of this pretty quick. Just make sure you feather it in. So it doesn't look like a patch. Okay, so I'm finished. I went ahead and textured down to the bottom, floated it out, cleaned up my mess, and I think it looks pretty good. I'll have the painter come over, scratch it, scratch off the high parts, prime it, and paint it. Hopefully you guys learned something from this. Go ahead and subscribe. I'm going to have new videos coming out next week. And check out my other videos. Hope you guys have a great day. Take it easy.